Do you call them vanilla or Nilla wafers? Nilla is just a shortened version of vanilla and the official name of the Nabisco brand. Vanilla wafers are a simple, buttery, vanilla-flavored, crunchy cookie used primarily in banana pudding. Why buy those heavily processed crunchy cookies from the store when you can make them just as crunchy and tasty at home? Vanilla wafers have been a staple cookie for making banana pudding in the southern United States since the 1940s. However, they've been around since the late 1800s. If you like vanilla wafers, the recipe I'm sharing is a good homemade alternative that still provides the traditional vanilla, buttery, crunchy cookie you expect in a vanilla wafer. They are perfect to eat alone or use them in homemade banana pudding or pie crust. For the ingredients, you'll need butter, powdered sugar, granulated sugar, eggs, vanilla, all-purpose flour, baking powder, and salt. In a large bowl or in a bowl of a stand mixer, we're going to add 4 ounces of butter that's softened, which is 1 stick, and then blend it up until it's smooth and light and fluffy. We're going to add 90 grams, which is 3/4 of a cup of powdered sugar, and 50 grams, which is 1/4 of a cup of granulated sugar. And then mix those sugars and the butter together until they are light and fluffy. We're going to add 2 room temperature egg whites. So you'll need to separate your yolks from your whites. It's easiest to do in a separate bowl in case you accidentally break your yolk. We're going to add them each one at a time and then do a quick little mix. The reason why I like to mix between adding the eggs is you can see the butter and the eggs start to curdle just a bit. So if you add them one at a time, then it smooths it out before you add your next one. Okay, see, we're all smooth again. We're going to save our 2 egg yolks for another dish, whatever you'd like. You could even put these in an ice tray in the freezer and let them thaw before you need them or use them in a recipe. All right, so egg yolks aside for something else. We're gonna add that second egg white to our butter and give it a quick stir to smooth it all out. We're gonna add in our last egg, and it's going to be the whole egg. Yolk and white. Notice how smooth our batter is getting. Then we're gonna do another quick mix, and we're gonna add in 1 tablespoon of vanilla. This is where we get all that yummy vanilla flavoring. You could use vanilla bean if you would like, and give it another quick mix. We're going to set our batter aside for a moment, and then in another bowl, we're going to add 180 grams, which is 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Then give it a quick sift, give it a quick little stir, just make sure everything is mixed and combined before we add it to our butter. So we're going to add 1/2 of it to the batter and then mix it up, and then we're going to add the last bit of flour and then just do a quick mix. We don't want to over mix this, we just want to make sure everything gets well combined. If you're using your stand mixer, you're just going to do the same thing. And I'll always go back with my spoon, just make sure, like, scoop everything down and it's all clearly mixed in and mixed well. It's a good looking batter for homemade vanilla wafers. Okay, so now we're going to have to pipe our cookies because we want them that similar size to a vanilla wafer that you get at the store. So if you have a piping bag, you can place your batter in a piping bag. If not, you can just use a zip top bag, and this is what I use. I just get a glass, I take my zip top bag, I place 1 corner at the bottom of the glass, and then I'll fold the rest of the bag over the glass. So when I put the batter in, the batter is going to go to that tip, so when we cut the tip off, it'll be easier to pipe onto the cookie sheet, and then just place your batter in whatever bag that you're using. Hit the glass on the counter and it pulls the batter down. Okay, once your batter is in the bag, you can let it sit in the bag for a few moments. Go ahead and you're going to line a baking sheet with parchment paper. You could use a silicone mat if you want. If you have mats that have 1 to 1.5 inch circles on them for like making macarons, you could use that because we're looking for about a 1 and a 1.5 inch circle of a cookie. Now you want to make sure you preheat your oven to 350 degrees. So when you're ready to pipe, you can go ahead and take the batter out of the cup. You want to find the tip. If you're using a piping bag, then you want a 1/2 inch tip. If you're going to be using this gallon bag, then you want to cut your tip a 1/2 inch across. Okay, so now it's time to pipe on our tray. If you have trouble keeping your parchment paper down on your cookie sheet, you can always pipe a little dollop. Just put a little bit of batter on your cookie sheet and then press the paper down on top of it, and it won't move. Okay, great, now it's in place. Okay, for this, you want to just dollop about 1/2 inch. You don't want to do a lot because they will spread in the oven. And I'm using a 17 by 12 inch cookie sheet, and I can get 20 cookies on this cookie sheet, 4 cookies across and 5 down. After you finish a tray of cookies, just dip your finger in some cold water and then just sort of flatten and smooth out the tops where we have that piping curl, and also it'll ensure that they are nice and round. So notice we're just doing simple, even piping all the way across and all the way down. And come back, dab your finger in water, and just smooth them out. These are ready for the oven, so they're gonna go in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes until golden brown, getting that dark brown color that you're used to seeing on a store-bought vanilla wafer. And in the meantime, we're gonna fill a second pan with the rest of our dough. So our cookies that were coming out of the oven, and you can actually just pick them up with your fingers and move them over to cool. And so we're gonna let them cool for a few minutes, and then we'll break into them. All right, take a look at our cookies. We've got some that are a little bigger than others. So you can decide like the size. You could do a test batch with just a couple cookies to see which size you prefer. I think the smaller ones are gonna be great for banana pudding, and the larger ones are great just to eat like a cookie. So they do look like the traditional vanilla wafers. You can see the golden brown on the back. They're nice and cooked and baked on the top. Let's see if we can hear that snap. Yep, they've got a nice crunch to them. They look like a vanilla wafer on the inside as well. This is a very buttery cookie with nuances of the vanilla. So they have that nice crunch like a vanilla wafer. So if you're looking for a good vanilla wafer cookie that's an alternative to what you buy in the store, this is a very good option. The snap when broken is a result of using granulated sugar along with a longer, slower bake. Store cookies at room temperature in a sealed container for up to a week. You can also freeze them in an airtight bag or container for several months. Use these cookies in homemade banana pudding or crumble and mix with melted butter to use as a dessert pie crust for banana cream pie, cheesecake, or whatever you would like. They are great dipped in chocolate sauce, sweetened cream dip, caramel sauce, or dulce de leche. Why not crumble them over ice cream? Now that's a good idea. Thanks for watching, liking, and subscribing. Until next time, go bake the world.